Hi, I'm Ryan, and this here is Rosie, my Basset Hound, and this is Basset Hound Central, where today we are going to be talking about where you can find your Basset Hound. Where's the best place for you to go and search for your Basset Hound? So that's what Rosie and I will be talking about. If you're like me and you love Basset Hounds, then go buy one of those cones of shame to put on both the like and the subscribe button, take them for a walk around the neighborhood, and let all the other dogs make fun of them. All right, let's talk about where to get Basset Hound puppies. Okay, so where can you, if you've finally decided that the Basset Hound is the best dog, the best breed for you, where can you find your forever friend? And that's something that is near and dear to my heart and to Rosie's heart because, as you can see, we love each other. And we think it's important for everyone to find their perfect pet if that's what's in store for you. So this information is really geared towards just my US viewers. I live here in the US and I only really know about buying dogs here in the US. So if you're from outside of the US, please feel free to continue to watch. Probably still be some good information for you. But at the end of the day, like I said, it's geared towards US viewers. Also, this could be, yeah, probably will be one of the more controversial videos that I do. So some people may disagree with what I have to say, but all of this is just one man's opinion. My own opinion based on years of experience of owning dogs, buying various dog breeds, buying Rosie, and the experience we had with getting her. And so again, yeah, this is just my opinion, my experience. Take it for what it's worth. And please watch through the whole entire video so you can understand where I'm coming from and what I'm saying. All right, so before we jump into where you should get a puppy, let's talk about where you shouldn't get a puppy. Rosie loves her ear rubs. Don't you? Don't you, Rosie? Yeah, she's a good girl. I think Basset Hounds are part seal too. If you haven't found that out in your research, look into it, Google it. I think it's a thing. Right, Rosie? You're part seal dog, aren't you? Yes. Yes, you are. All right, so let's get down to it. Sorry, I'm distracted by my doggy. I just finished work and I haven't had a lot of one-on-one time with her, so I'm a little bit distracted. Hope you can understand. So where should you get a Basset Hound? I want to talk about first where you shouldn't get a Basset Hound. Again, this is my opinion. There's a lot of generalizations with what I'll say, but I think it's good information for prospective Basset Hound owners to think about, and you guys can do your own research and come up with your own conclusions. So, all right, so the places where I feel like you should not get a Basset Hound are a backyard breeder, websites like Pet Finder, Puppy Find, or Craigslist. I know there's others out there, but you get the idea. A pet store, and puppy mills. So why do I say that? Why are these the lists of places where you shouldn't get a Basset Hound? Well, typically speaking, these breeders will work with poor quality bloodlines, which may be genetically predisposed or prone to a host of health problems, and are often only interested in making money and they're not necessarily interested in ensuring that the breed itself continues to be healthy and do well and maintains a certain standard. Oh, she's laying down. So yeah, they're not looking at trying to improve the overall quality of the breed. So this is why you should stay away from these types of breeders. Don't do that, Rosie. When you purchase a puppy from a pet store, you're likely not going to know who bred your dog or have anyone to contact if something were to go wrong, if there were a health issue with your puppy. When you buy from a pet store, they're not going to care, and they're really not going to do much to help you, and they're not going to be able to tell you where the dog came from, who its parents were, etc. Health is a big reason why I say not to buy from these types of breeders, because you're not going to know the level of healthiness, if you will, of the dog. I mean, there's never any guarantees, but you're more likely to run into issues when you're buying a Basset Hound puppy from someone who's just a backyard breeder and who really isn't, again, interested in looking at the health of the parents that are being bred. They're just more interested in making a buck. So that's why I say don't buy from those sorts of sellers. Oftentimes, if you go onto puppyfind.com or any of those types of websites, those aren't always the highest caliber breeders. They're typically going to want to ship dogs to you, and these are dogs, these are live animals. You know, I couldn't imagine Rosie getting shipped like as if she were bought from Amazon or something. So good quality breeders aren't going to want to ship you a dog. They're going to want to meet you. They're going to want to get to know you. You're going to want to meet them and get to know them. See one or both of the parents if you can. So, yeah. Again, just back to my point is there's more likelihood of health issues with these sorts of breeders. Despite the inferiority of the dogs that you're going to get from these types of breeders, they often are going to still charge a premium for their pups. So why would you want to pay top dollar for an inferior puppy that's going to end up just costing you more money in the long run, possibly due to health issues? I would say that no matter how impatient you are or how impatient your spouse or your kids or anyone in the family is, it's worth taking the time and effort and being patient to find the right breeder so that you can get a good, healthy, well-adjusted dog with a good temperament from a good breeder. And in the long run, it's going to save you time and money, heartache, and headaches. Before we move on to where you should go and look for a Basset Hound puppy, I think it's worth mentioning that there are a lot of good Basset Hound rescue groups out there. And if you are interested in having a Basset Hound, it's definitely worth taking a look at these sorts of organizations, because they might have the perfect fit for you, and it's a win-win situation for everyone. All right, so with all of that out of the way, where can you find a Basset Hound puppy? Where are the places that will give you a better chance of finding a quality breeder? I have two sites to recommend to you, and one I like more than the other, so I'll save that for last. But the first one is the American Kennel Club, so akc.org. Many of you will be familiar with the AKC. You can go on their website to find out what they're all about. But the reason why they're not my preferred avenue for where you will find a Basset Hound puppy is because there's really a big, when you start looking and talking to the various breeders that are listed on their website that are AKC breeders, they're not all created equal. So it takes a lot of research, a lot of homework, a lot of questioning of breeders to find out who really is a quality breeder. It's pretty easy to become a AKC breeder, but the AKC themselves, over the last, I would probably say, decade or maybe even longer, they've come under fire for basically allowing anyone to become a breeder with very little standards, with really no ability to check in and inspect who is a breeder. And there are often, many times, known puppy mill breeders that become AKC breeders. So it's just, again, there's so many that you will find if you go on there. There's going to be so many AKC Basset Hound puppy breeders that it would really take a lot of time, a lot of digging, a lot of patience to make sure you're weeding through the crappy ones to find the ones that actually really care about the breed and aren't just looking for money. Again, I said at the very beginning, I'm going to be using a lot of generalizations, but having called literally dozens of breeders from the AKC website when we were looking for Rosie, I can tell you that there's more garbage breeders on there than not. I'm just being honest. So that was my impression anyway, that these people were more interested in doing whatever they could to sell a puppy. They didn't care about where I lived, the type of home I had, the atmosphere I had, nothing. They were willing to ship the dogs. So anyway, that's not to say that they're all that way. It's just, that's what I encountered when it was 2 years ago or whatever, when we were looking for Rosie. What is my favorite place, or where is my favorite place to look for Basset Hound puppies? And the place where I found Rosie, and that is the Basset Hound Club of America. And this site really has so many great resources. All I can do is encourage you that once you're done watching this video, that you head over to their website, and I think it's on the top left hand corner. You'll see something that says Find a Basset. Just click on there and you'll see a whole list of things that really you should read every single thing on that website, but especially under Find a Basset. It has so much great information, including a directory of BHCA breeders. All the breeders listed on the BHCA website have signed the organization's code of ethics, and that's one of the things that you can see on their website is what's included in that code of ethics. What are these breeders agreeing to? And basically, in short, just to sum it up in a few words, is that they're committed to breeding high quality dogs in a responsible and ethical manner, with the health and welfare of the dogs in mind, not with making a profit in mind. And what I found was, when I contacted a dozen or so, probably even more, breeders on this website and talked to them on the phone, these breeders really care about the breed. They really care about the dog. They really care about their dogs. And they have a vested interest in making sure that the breed maintains a certain standard. And so that means they have to make sure that they are doing everything in their power as breeders to raise and breed healthy, beautiful, well-adjusted dogs. And I would say probably 99% of the ones that I talked to were breeding because they breed for show. And most of their litters don't end up being sold, because, or at least to the public, because they're either selling to other folks who show dogs, or keeping them for themselves to show. So for example, Rosie's litter, she was the only one out of the whole litter that got sold to the public, and we happened to be the lucky ones. She's the only one that has become a civilian, as I'll call it, a civilian puppy. So to me, that meant a lot. You know, if you're going to spend all the money to show dogs, you're going to make sure that you are breeding to the standard and you're breeding good, healthy dogs. And you know, that's where Rosie is. I don't know what it was about Rosie that didn't quite meet the mark. I know the breeder said that was an argument between, or a dispute maybe between the husband and wife as to which of the last two dogs they were going to keep to show. And they finally decided on Rosie's sister. So I'm certainly happy. As far as I'm concerned, Rosie's perfect, and whatever little detail it is that didn't make her quite show quality, I don't care. She's a perfect, right, Rosie? I don't care. She's just the perfect dog. We love her so much. She's so lovable. She's so fun. She's so playful. And she's been, you know, just a great dog to have. Again, well-adjusted and healthy. So it's all that I can ask for. Once you kind of narrow down maybe one or two breeders that have some pups available, what you should expect is that they're going to ask you a lot of questions. On the BHCA website, there's a list of questions you should ask the breeder, but I think there's also a list of questions that you should expect the breeder is going to ask you. So don't be alarmed or concerned if the breeder starts asking you a bunch of questions, because again, they're concerned about the breed, and most of these, as I mentioned, are folks who are breeding for show. So these are part of their family. They have I don't know, just a love for their dogs, and they don't want to see them go to just anybody. So when you do reach out to them, make sure you start off by sending them an email. Let them know about yourself, like where you live, how many kids you have, if you have children, do you rent or own, do you have land, do you have a fenced-in yard. Most breeders are going to require that you have a fenced-in area for a Basset Hound. But just let them know about your situation, why you want a Basset Hound, your experience with dogs, and some of those other things that I mentioned. Just that way you're not like, hey, do you guys have puppies for sale? Because they're just going to ignore you and think that you're really not interested in providing a good quality home. A good quality breeder is going to stand behind the health of their puppies. They will want to be contacted if there's an issue with the puppy health-wise, or you know, for some reason you're 2 months in and you just can't stand Basset Hounds anymore, they're not what you thought they were, then they'd be willing to take them back, no questions asked. Good quality breeders do not want you giving your dog, one of their dogs, to a shelter or a rescue organization or anything like that. They would rather take the dogs back themselves. Like I mentioned earlier, most of them will require you to have a fenced yard, and I would say 99.999% of good breeders are not going to ship you a dog. It would be very unusual, and if it was shipping a dog, it's not going to just be in a crate under an airline. It's going to be by a professional dog shipper, so, which is super expensive. So again, if you're into showing dogs and you want to incur that expense, then go for it. But if you're just looking for a dog to be shipped to you under a plane, good breeder isn't going to let you do that. Just a couple more things in closing. Before you reach out to any of these breeders on the BHCA website, please do your homework. Obviously, if you've gotten this far, you've watched this video. If you haven't already, go watch all my other videos where I talk about, you know, can you train a Basset Hound? How much do they shed? What about drooling? The top 10 reasons why you should and should not get a Basset Hound. And I'll probably link those two at the end of this video, because Basset Hounds aren't for everybody. They look super adorable. Rosie's super cute, but you know, she's definitely stubborn at times. And you know, she's just different than any other dog that I've ever had in both good ways and bad ways. As I've talked about, there's a stink issue that some people don't like. Um, the stubbornness, the shedding, these are all real things. Her howling, if you live in an apartment, may not be a good thing. Um, Depending on your household, if everybody's working and all the kids are at school and you're expecting this dog to be by itself for 8, 10, 12 hours, then a Basset Hound isn't right for your family. There's other dogs that will suit you much better. So please, please, please do your homework. Watch all my videos, consider all of these things, read all through every last thing on the BHCA website, and just make sure that this is the breed for you, and then send them an email. I think that's everything. I think if you do all of your research and you're buying a Basset Hound for all the right reasons and not just because they're cute, then if you're patient and with a little bit of luck, you can have a Basset Hound too. We waited, I think it was like 4 or 5 months. Don't think you can just go online and buy a Basset Hound tomorrow and it's going to be a good one. You got to put in the time, the effort, and the energy to get your perfect Basset Hound. Go ahead and put some comments down below if you are a current Basset Hound owner or a previous one. What do you think about what I just talked about? Am I totally off base? Or do you agree? Or maybe you have some other advice for our viewers who are interested in getting a Basset Hound puppy. All right, thanks so much and take care. God bless.